Hey guys, and welcome back to another Premier League predictions video. Today we are returning with Game Week 2. So we're going to crack on in today's video with our 9 fixtures, as one of them has been postponed, and then we're going to take a look at how we got on for match day 1. So starting off with the first game, Nottingham Forest on Friday night at home to newly promoted Sheffield United. I have gone for a Forest 2-1 victory in this one. They were very good at home last year, especially towards the end of the year under Steve Cooper. And actually, the 3 newly promoted sides, only Luton managed to score a goal on the opening day, and that was from the penalty spot through Carlton Morris. But I have gone for Sheffield United to score their first of the season here, albeit in a 2-1 defeat. Next up, we have a London derby between two of the sides who I would say overachieved their expectations last year. That is Fulham and Brentford, and in this one I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Really tough game to predict. Fulham did well on the opening day, although it seemed like they didn't necessarily deserve victory at Goodison Park. They did hold out for the 1-0 win, and Brentford fought back against Spurs for a 2-2 draw. So I've gone for another stalemate in this one. I think with Fulham being at home and Brentford still of course without Ivan Toney, I think it will be tough for them to go to Craven Cottage and win, so I've gone for a draw. Next up in game 3 we have Liverpool at home to Bournemouth. You may remember this was the game that spelled the end for Scott Parker at Bournemouth last year when they got thumped 7-0 by Liverpool. On this occasion I've gone for a 3-0 Liverpool win. Bournemouth did pretty well on the opening day at home to West Ham, but I think going to Anfield is a very tough task for them. I think Liverpool, although not being great at Stamford Bridge, will create enough to win it pretty comfortably. Game 4 is postponed between Luton and Burnley. I'm not sure if this is due to the grounds work going on at Kenilworth Road. I'm not 100% sure. This game has been postponed, so we'll skip over that one and head to game 5, which will be Wolves against Brighton. I actually had Wolves in my Joker game for match day 1 to lose by 2-0 at Old Trafford, and they were absolutely brilliant against United. It's actually last night as I'm recording it, but I have gone for them to fall to defeat. Their first home game of the season, but Brighton were very, very good against Luton on the opening day at the Amex. Won that by 4-1. I've gone for 3-1 in this one. Wolves really struggled to convert their chances at Old Trafford, but I think in front of their home fans they will get on the score sheet for the first time this year, albeit in a defeat. Game 6 is one of the bigger games of the fixture as Tottenham face Manchester United. As I just mentioned for Game 5 there for Wolves, Man United weren't great on the opening day, scraping past Wolves with a 1-0 victory. And I think the shape they're playing now with Bruno and Mount in midfield next to Casemiro is leaving them pretty exposed. They should have conceded multiple goals against Wolves on match day 1, so I've gone for a bit of a goal glut here between Tottenham and Manchester United. Same result as Tottenham had on match day 1, which is a 2-2 draw. Next up, I guess you could say two of the heavyweights this year, Manchester City and Newcastle, also known as the Oil Classico. I have gone for Man City to win it by 2-0. Really tough one to predict because Newcastle made a bit of a statement on the opening day with a 5-1 victory, but City are so good, especially at home. Although it does now seem as if Kevin De Bruyne is going to be out for a number of months, so potentially time for someone like Mateo Kovacic or Phil Foden to step up for City. Tough game at the beginning of the season, but I have gone for them to win it by 2-0. Game 8 sees Aston Villa hosting Everton at Villa Park. Aston Villa, one of the teams that everyone thought would be very good this year, obviously took a bit of a thumping away at St James's in match day 1. And Everton, well, they should have probably beaten Fulham at home on the opening day, but for this occasion, I have gone for Villa to win it by 2-1. I think they will be much better, especially in front of their home fans. Of course, Emi Buendia and Mings both out for them could potentially be big losses, but I wouldn't say they're their most influential players, and I think Villa, first game in front of the home fans, will get a victory here. And the second game of Super Sunday sees Chelsea for the second week in a row facing off in the 4:30 kickoff slot, this time away against West Ham. Really tough place to go, where they've had some mixed results over recent years. I have on this occasion gone for Chelsea to win by 2-1. Now West Ham could potentially have new signings Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse available for this game, so I think they will definitely be a threat. Got a decent point away on the south coast against Bournemouth on the opening day, and it seems like they played pretty well. But Chelsea were brilliant against Liverpool and potentially should have won that last week on Sunday. So I've gone for them to win here again, hoping that we are going to be able to build on what was a pretty decent start against a lot of people's favourites to challenge City for the title this year in Liverpool. And the final game of the fixture sees Crystal Palace hosting Arsenal, which was actually the opening day fixture of last season's Premier League. I've gone for a 2-1 victory for Arsenal. I think Palace are a lot better under Roy Hodgson, and I think it will be a really tricky game for Arsenal under the lights on Monday. We know what Selhurst Park can be like, but on the other hand, Crystal Palace obviously lost Zaha this summer. Elise looks like he's going to be on his way to Chelsea, so they've lost some of their creative and goal scoring spark. So I do expect Arsenal to win it with the quality that they do have, but could potentially be a banana peel for Arsenal. Tricky place to go, although I have gone for them to win. And to round off our joker game this week was a bit of a banker for me. I've gone for Liverpool to beat Bournemouth at Anfield. I think the rest of the game, City at home to Newcastle, although they are very good at home, Newcastle could spring a few surprises. Chelsea and Arsenal both have tricky away days. The other game I was contemplating was Aston Villa Everton, but I think a lot of people have Liverpool Bournemouth as their jokers for this week. So that will do it for Matchday 2, guys. Let's head over to the predictions website and see how we got on last week in Matchday 1. So here we are then, guys. This is the full table breakdown so far after Matchday 1. You can see we're kind of middle of the pack at the moment. If you've not spotted me, I am in here joint 11th place, actually with my dad and one of my mates who has joined the league this year, who's actually been in a couple of videos before. So you can see us all there is pretty tightly congested between sort of 13 to 9 points. There's a lot of people in that sort of bracket. We are on 10 points, so a pretty decent week for us. You can see there's already quite a big gap to the guy at the top who managed to pick up an astounding 21 points in the fixture, which is absolutely incredible. I thought to myself before the fixture started that I'd be happy with around 10 points, so we did reach that target. And you can see here, this is how we managed it. Had a lot of 1-pointers, but didn't really convert many of these into 3. So most people had Manchester City to win against Burnley on the opening night. Couple of 3-pointers and a couple of 6-pointers in there as well. We got our 3-pointer for Arsenal to beat Forest by 2-1, which was a pretty good call in my opinion. And then had 1-pointers for Brighton to beat Luton, Fulham to beat Everton, and Crystal Palace to beat Sheffield United, which after watching the highlights should have been 2-0. I'm not sure how Palace didn't score a second in that game, so that was really frustrating. We picked up a pretty decent point for Brentford drawing against Tottenham, although there was someone, I think, down here who had 2-2, which was a really good shout in that game. And then to close out the fixture on Monday night, my joker game was a weird one because Wolves played really well, definitely deserved something out of the game, but as soon as United went a goal up, I was going, go on, they've got to score a second on the break. Didn't manage to kill the game off, held out for the 1-0, but it didn't really do much for me. If they'd scored a second, 6 points would have moved us right up the table in fixture 1. But as it stands, I'm pretty happy with how we got on in the first fixture. I'd love to finish inside the money this season, and unfortunately last year we started off so bad that we just had a massive hill to climb and we were never able to make up the ground. So if we can stick in it in the early weeks of the season and be in the running, that would be great. As you can see, 3 points would move us up to joint third, so it's still pretty tight. But yeah, overall pretty happy with Matchday 1. Thought Matchday 2 was pretty hard to predict, so we'll have to come back next week and see how we got on. But guys, if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like on the video. Let me know what your predictions are down below, and I'll catch you for Game Week 3 next week. Peace.